Welcome back to Creepcast. Today we are going into the Tales from the Creep subreddit to read a story that's been getting recommended to us a lot over the past couple months, which has been The Axe-Wielder by Walker B. Switching Hour.
Is that what it is? I think it means Walker B's witching hour.
Oh, probably.
Walker B's.
Walker BS? Walker bullshit witching hour?
Walker BS witching hour.
I don't know, something like that. And at the very top, content warning, because that's what it says at the top here.
Yes.
Got a little supernatural tag and a little content warning, self-harm. So if you're not in the not in market for some self-harm content, this one is not for you.
Yeah, which if there's one thing I know about our viewers, it's that they like them some self-harm.
Oh, they love it.
They love it. They can't get enough of it. So checking out Walker BS Witching Hour, it seems their real name is Brett H. And that they are a writer or editor, at least according to their Reddit account, and they've posted a ton in Creepcast and Tales from the Creeps. And counting it, it looks like they've written 5 stories for Tales from the Creeps. And I saw a bunch of people on Tales from the Creeps recommending these 5 stories, and specifically the Axe-Wielder. So Brett over here might be an up-and-coming writer, and if so, we need to capitalize on it immediately. We have to be here to read their story and pretend we had something to do with it.
I like whenever we obviously have a very dedicated audience over on Tales from the Creeps that are reading stuff, so it's cool whenever they can kind of like be torchbearers and be like, hey, by the way, like try to flag down stuff, which is fun.
Yeah.
I think it is sweet. And like I said, as we always say at the top, if you are into horror writing, you're just trying to start out, there is albeit it's not the largest thing in the world, but still there is an audience of people here who genuinely want to read whatever you got for them. So if you're looking to get into writing, Tales from the Creeps might be your place, baby. For all the people listening over on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. Consider giving us a good rating. And if you guys like some extra content or just want to support the channel, feel free to sign up for the Patreon and see some extra goodies there. Isaiah, you want to get into the Axe-Wielder?
Let's get into the Axe-Wielder. So I know it's tagged supernatural. What's your over and under? Do you think that the Axe-Wielder himself is supernatural? Or do you think it's
honestly, yes,
there's some other supernatural?
Yes, because I hope that it's that feels like a very cheesy horror film thing that I would enjoy. Kind of like you remember that movie 13 Ghosts?
Yes.
With Monk. Yeah, it makes me think of that whenever all the ghosts in that movie are kind of sweet. Where I love in stories or movies when ghosts still have weapons. Where you're you came back from the afterlife and yet you're still going to kill me with an axe. Kind of rules. So I love the early 2000s 90s vibes of an axe wielding ghost or something. So I mean I hope so.
What was that slasher movie where it was like a ghost coal miner with a pickaxe?
Wasn't it
My Bloody Valentine? Yeah. My Bloody Valentine. I remember that one. I always thought it was funny, the idea that this guy's dead, but he got to keep the pickaxe.
I don't know. There is I think it
turned out in that one at the end, it was a person murdering people, like a very Scooby-Doo thing, just disguised as a ghost, but still the idea.
Is that really how
funny.
It ends?
I'm pretty sure, doesn't it?
It's been I know Jensen so Ackles is in it,
but I'm pretty sure or he's possessed or one, but it's something like there's a legend of this ghost miner that kills people, and then I think it's a person who ends up being the killer, I think.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I mean, I guess that tracks too with I don't know, Jason and stuff, which I know that's more zombie or whatever, but still supernatural.
Jason,
coming back.
So, but you are right in the first one, because in the first one, it turns out it's Jason's mom.
Right.
But then in the sequels, yes, Jason is just flat out a supernatural zombie thing that kills people.
Do you like the idea of it being a supernatural zombie, or do you like the idea of it being it's just a spirit that's manifesting physically? You know what I mean? Almost like a spirit that you could touch, but it isn't a zombie. It's not like it's their corpse. It's like
the spirits. Well, it depends on how it's done. Typically, the spiritual is scarier to me because you can't do anything about it. I feel like even in the Friday the 13th movies, it's you can hypothetically
you can
slow down Jason
down,
at least. Yeah. Whereas with a ghost, it's well, I guess you're dead. There's not a lot you can do about it.
When I was younger, I was so freaked out by 13 Ghosts and all the weird shit. Even though it's because the whole thing was in that movie they had trapped them in ritual sealed glass cases or something, because they were being like displayed in this guy's house. It's super stupid, but it's a lot of fun. But I really like the idea of it just like visually. It's like a thing that can teleport, move around, do whatever. But then it's still just like, by the way, I'm still going to fucking strangle you with these chains. And you're like, okay, okay, dude. It's more insulting than anything.
It's like, well, I mean, that's a little overkill. You are a ghost, but that's fine, I guess.
I like someone dying. I like someone's getting ready to die and they're like that combat too. Well, I mean, you are a ghost, but if you must strangle me with chains, then do what you must. Let's dive in and see what it is.
Let's get into it. All right. The Axe-Wielder. According to some, blues legend Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads in exchange for his guitar prowess. At this point, I'd probably do the same. My name is Johnny Sticks. Well, I was born John Rivers, but I can't really see a crowd going wild for John Rivers.
Oh, God damn. It's going to be a guitar. It's not even an axe. Son of a bitch.
Hold on. Well, we're wrong off the bat.
Okay.
Admitted that. But at the same time, that's kind of hot. You know?
No. I like it. I mean, I'm stoked, but fundamentally, I have to completely reshift my expectations for this thing.
I mean, like a supernatural ghost that kills you with a guitar, and he's called the Axe-Wielder because he shreds the guitar. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm 26 years young, with a birthday a few weeks out, and I'm going to be the next big rock star. At least that's what I told myself as I finished up another open mic at the Pit. Crowd of 10 people tops, occasionally looking up from their drinks at me. The Pit was a fitting name for this establishment. A dimly lit dive bar permeated with the perpetual smell of stale beer and cigarettes, cheap drinks, and cheaper clientele. The bar was on... Okay, so just real quick. That little thing he just did where he's like, stale beer and cigarettes, cheap drinks, and cheaper clientele. We complain so much in stories about people over-explaining things or like... taking two, like in the Sandman one, where it's like he describes one thing 5 different ways. And I've seen comments where people are like, why do they like phrasing and, extra adjectives and stuff sometimes, but not others? It's because you have to be short and clever about it. You can't just be like, it felt like this, but it felt like something else too. That little cheap drinks and cheaper clientele is fun. It is world building, stuff like that. That's what I wish more writers we read would do, stuff like that. Anyway. Tales from the Creeps. The bar was on one side of the room. The few stools belonged to regulars, while a few tables and a makeshift stage comprised the rest of it. The far wall was adorned with a gaudy mural. An overly muscular Satan and a voluptuous witch atop her broomstick, clad only in a hat against a deep red backdrop. Real classy place, but the only bar within walking distance that has open mic Saturdays. The owner, Vince, claims to know people in the biz.
Johnny Sticks, everyone.
Vince called from the bar, slow clapping with a slight head shake. I unslung my guitar, a cheap pawn shop Ibanez, from around my neck and placed it into its case, pocketing the $3 one of the patrons threw in. Vince already had a Coors Light bottle cracked open at the end of the bar as I sauntered up.
Keep your money. This one's on me,
he said, waving away the couple bucks in my hand. He was a surly bastard with a beer belly, short brown hair and sideburns, and a pack-a-day rasp. I gave him a nod and sipped, reflecting on another open mic Saturday. The Pit doesn't tend to pull in a ton of people outside its dedicated regulars. An open mic Saturday isn't an exception. It's always the same couple people stepping up to the mic every week. Me, this shitty excuse for a comedian who prattles about the political climate, and sometimes this pretty early 20s hippie chick playing acoustic folk songs. I usually have time for 3, sometimes 4 songs, and I try to make them count. Covers of Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, the Rolling Stones, classics everyone knows. I'm a passable guitar player, nowhere near the greats, but for some reason or another, I always sound like shit at the Pit. Tonight was particularly bad, with my missed notes and flat singing. I think the comedian gave a better performance. I slammed my chords and gestured to Vince. He came over. Another beer, bottle of Jack, 2 shot glasses in his hands. I could see the pity in his eyes as he poured.
Fucking guitar,
I muttered as we clinked glasses and downed the whiskey. I needed a new guitar. I had the Ibanez for a few years now, and no matter what gear, strings, picks I used, it was sounding worse and worse. I sat at the bar for about an hour, drowning my sorrows before I decided to call it. Getting up, the booze went straight to my head. I walked, or rather stumbled, toward the side door and exited into the alley. The cool night air was welcome after the pit's sticky warmth. I leaned against the dumpster and lit a cigarette with a sigh.
Got another one.
Came a voice from behind me. I turned around to see a I'll just say a prick. That's easier.
A dirty motherfucker.
I turned around to see a dirty prick with a stained Bud Light t-shirt, patchy beard, missing teeth reaching an arm toward me.
Damn it, bud.
I said, flicking another cigarette from the pack and handed it to him. Bud's a staple of the pit. He camps in the alley next to the bar, always begging for cigarettes and change. Vince sometimes lets him sleep in the bar on cold nights, and when he's in a good mood, spots him the occasional drink. No one knows Bud's real name. We call him Bud because he always wears that filthy Bud Light shirt and spends every panhandled cent on the pit's supply of Bud. Feeling a sense of pity for both of us, I fished the $3 from tonight's performance out of my pocket and handed them over. With no hesitation, Bud ducked into the bar, flashing his gap smile at me. Right as the door closed, I heard Vince shout some expletive. I uneventfully stumbled back to my shithole building, climbed the stairs to my shithole apartment, and collapsed on my bed. I didn't even bother putting the guitar where it belonged.
Fuck.
I grumbled, waking up to the fog of hangover. My whole body ached. I looked at the clock. 10 a.m. I dragged my ass out of bed and lurched toward the shower. The pawn shop opened in an hour. After I indulged in some hair of the dog and made myself look, at the very least, more presentable than Bud, I made my way over, Ibanez in hand. I'd admired a few of their musical wares before, but never had the money for the good ones. Maybe trading this piece of shit in would get me something, at least. Probably another piece of shit, but still, something. I noticed two things as I entered the shop. One, the cashier. A tall, gaunt, and pale man with long black hair. He stared at me with a stony expression. This jovial, jolly dude named Dean normally runs the store and has been behind the counter every time I've come in here except today. The other thing I noticed is the guitar hanging behind the counter. I had never seen anything like it. An electric with a body shaped almost like a coffin. The body and fretboard were black, the deepest black I've ever seen. The only non-black parts were the strings and frets, crimson like blood. Couldn't take my eyes off it. Felt like it was calling to me somehow. It's definitely out of my price range, but I needed it. I approached the counter and placed the Ibanez down.
How much for that?
Pointed at the odd instrument. The cashier looked at me. A smile started to form on his face. He pulled the guitar off the wall and handed it to me. The smile widened to a creepy grin. I was a bit unsettled, but reached out and took it. It was surprisingly light for how sturdy it looked, and the fretboard fit my fingers perfectly. I couldn't describe it, but it just felt right. I gave it a strum, thumb gliding effortlessly over the strings. The cashier looked at me intently.
Trade in this one and it's yours,
he said, curling his mouth into that creepy grin once more. My eyes nearly bugged out of my head.
Really? Really?
Calmly stated, grabbing the Ibanez off the counter.
Do we have a deal?
I nodded enthusiastically and shook his hand. His grip was firm, hand cold as ice. The guy creeped me out, but the guitar was perfect. He disappeared into the back, my Ibanez in hand. I loved that old thing for a while, but with the amount of times it screwed me over at the pit, I shed no tears watching it go.
I really do like these kind of, stories where it's like, it's like Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny. It's like these things of like a magical item that suddenly makes you. It's like, would you say this is like almost like a monkey's paw kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I would say monkey's paw, or like, it is like the crossroad deal archetype, right? Yeah. Like, something's going wrong for you, so you make a deal to make it better. And there's also there's a name for it, but I'm losing it right now. The theming of like replacing what was working, what's fine, you could have got somewhere with for like a quick step up to fame. Like it's kind of the the artist's story you hear repeated a lot, where like someone ditches their old band or band members for the new shiny thing, or a manager or producer, and like leaves what they had in the dust, sort of deal, you know?
Yeah. I like these stories too, because I really enjoy, I mean, like the thing too is like, it's definitely got to go to a spot where it's like he plays it, it's fucking awesome. I always like this idea when you give somebody power, and then how do they use that? Like, does it go like these things as like, not necessarily, I guess, tropey as it might be. I always like seeing where people take the people that make this quote unquote devil, like deal with the devil. It's always fun, you know, because obviously he's going to go there. He's going to fucking shred. But it's like, where does he go with that? Like, does it go to his head immediately, or is there some kind of like what chains are, or what like what's attached to this deal, you know?
Yeah. The whole, you know, well, monkey's paw, be careful what you wish for, but also the like the rise to fame and kind of losing yourself sort of deal. But I like it being done physically through a guitar. It's almost like the shopkeeper was the stand-in for the devil, you know, and obviously he's trading him an item that looks like death. It's jet black with the red frets and stuff like that. It has a very menacing quality to it, but it's attractive. So
I do wish.
I think, yeah, it's doing something kind of unique with a very conventional setup.
I do wish that it was placed way more in Guitar Center, because the Guitar Center has to be one of the gates of hell. Every Guitar Center is a portal to hell, and I wish it would lean into that more. And while he does this deal, someone is just butchering "Stairway to Heaven" on a guitar in the background in absolute distortion. Yeah, or just Purple Rain in the back. Do we got a deal?
Have you ever been in a guitar set or any like a pawn shop? Because I'm not that familiar with instruments, but I imagine there has to be a point where someone's like testing out an instrument or like whatever. Do they ever start singing while they're doing it?
No. Like a guitar set, I mean, I'm sure there are some people, but the big thing is usually people play the same song. Like, there's kind of an unspoken rule when you go into a place where it's like, you're not supposed to play "Stairway to Heaven." You're not, like, every major popular song you're usually not supposed to play, because it's kind of like a no-no. Also, people go in there and they show off. It's like no shredding. There's a bunch of unspoken rules that are mostly just to be like, dude, just don't be annoying. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's a guitar store, whatever.
Yeah. People are gonna
shred
people. Yeah. But if they're good, does it matter?
Well, exactly. That's the thing. It's just if you're if you're butchering the beginning of "Sweet Child of Mine," it legitimately feels like that is the opening. That is the opening theme to "Walking into Hell." It has to be somebody butchering "Sweet Child of Mine." That would be the fucking worst.
She's got eyes and it seems to be okay. I immediately plugged the new one in when I got home. I had no clue what brand or model it was. There was nothing signifying a creator or anything on it. Curiosity be damned, though. This thing was mine.
Johnny Sticks, everyone.
Said to myself, imagining Vince calling it out at the end of an open mic Saturday. The pit packed to the gills with a rowdy and cheering crowd. My guitar case filled with bills. Excuse me. The cute acoustic hippie chick. Do what?
The audio of that sounded so horrible. I got every. Did you just burp or something?
I did. Yeah.
It sounded like you just like threw up. Oh my god! Editor or whoever's doing the audio, please like boost that and try to click, because it is fucking horrible. It was all in my ears. Oh my god! It was so bad.
God. Look, I ain't ate in a while, and I'm drinking a Diet Coke quickly, and that was the mistake. Right?
I like how it was like my guitar case filled with bills. the cute acoustic hippie chick, give me a kiss. It's like the perfect setup for that line.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. I'm getting into the character a little too much. That's him. I'm not going to ruin the story because I like the story, but now Johnny Sticks is like a 500-pound man. Like, yeah, she's going to be all over me.
It's literally me after I drank a Sprite. It's just like, I feel like I can smell the acidic nature of that burp.
It's not that bad.
It was horrible.
It's not that bad. Cute acoustic. I thought that said cute autistic. The cute acoustic hippie chick giving me a kiss on the cheek and then head in the bathroom.
God
Vince
damn.
hooking me up was one.
God. Holy
As soon as
moly.
I read that, I'm like, I know Hunter's not going to just let that one lie.
What do you mean, a girl? Listen,
All right,
listen.
yeah,
A girl
yeah.
giving you a kiss on the cheek. I mean, ain't gonna go to the bathroom and be like, "Here, cute." Sorry, don't kiss on the first date, and then just start raw dogging your dick in the bathroom. That's
okay,
I mean, it's a
all right,
fantasy,
all right.
but still, I'm just saying, like,
It's
that's
a
a
fantasy.
Jump. That's a jump.
It's a fantasy.
See,
well, yeah.
I thought
he's
Johnny
also imagining playing at like a sold out show at a dive bar.
He's talking about making money at an open mic, and I thought that Johnny Sticks was a better man than that.
Well,
I thought he was a more wholesome Chungus kind of guy. I guess not.
No, I don't think the story has those. Sorry.
I mean, it's like,
But
yeah,
it's
just
the most
like
wholesome Chungus we're gonna get.
giving me a kiss in the cheek and then giving me anal in the bathroom.
No, that's not what he said. That's a completely different arrangement. Vince hooking me up with one of his biz contacts, playing on a real stage, tour buses, groupies, a record label suit handed me a check, playing in a stadium, more groupies. An unholy feedback squeal snapped me out of my reverie. I adjusted the plugins on the amp and guitar, started picking away at the intro to Stairway to Heaven. Yo, that's a bear trap.
I'm telling you, if he would have put it in a Guitar Center, this would be so much spookier right now. Oh my god, no. He's like, yeah, that girl sits there, fucking totally kisses me on the cheek and licks my balls later. Yeah. Yo, why does Johnny Sticks kind of rule?
Immediately leading into it.
Fucking tons of people looking at how big my hog is.
As far as I'm concerned, to you, this is like your idea character. Like he buys a guitar.
Johnny Sticks is becoming. I mean, this man is. This is written.
This is
for
your
me.
kind of guy.
Absolutely.
Maybe it was my hangover. Maybe I just sucked at the song, but it sounded like shit. I started over. What the hell? It sounded worse. Even worse than it did on my Ibanez at the pit last night. I started over again. Even worse than before. Flat and twangy. When I hit the notes on the high E, the thin red string snapped.
God damn it!
I yelled, putting the guitar down. Stormed into my kitchen, grabbed a half-empty bottle of rot gut whiskey, took a huge swig. Gosh, this is your character. Breaks an instrument, like, I've got to start drinking.
I am not emotionally strong enough for this.
like the urgency. He went to the kitchen and started guzzling liquor. So
Yeah, just fucking immediately putting in a CD. It's just like, Mississippi Queen, if you know what I mean. Just having to slam down fucking whiskey immediately.
this guy's awesome.
Oh, Johnny Sticks. What a man.
Hold on. Let me take.
Fucking tons of chicks grabbing at me. Doo 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 doo. Fucking tons of people giving me money. They're like, dude, you rule. Doo doo. Johnny Sticks fucking rules, dude.
This is you.
Oh man, I love him. I love him.
Johnny Sticks is a fun name too. It sounds like
it's
the Ghost
great.
Rider.
Oh, it's so good. It's time to talk about something scary. Your health. I know I don't go in the doctor as much as I should. If I'm feeling sick, I'll just lie in bed and sleep it away. But that's only because I don't want to have to deal with the appointments, insurance, and blah, 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 blah. That's why I have ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. And the nice thing about ZocDoc is that you can filter for doctors that take your insurance, are nearby, and are highly rated. It's super easy to use, and you can find an appointment time that works for you with the right doctor for your needs. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. You don't want to admit it, but you should probably see a doctor. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Creepcast to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Creepcast. ZocDoc.com/Creepcast. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring the episode. Back to our spooky story. This episode is sponsored by Cash App. Cash App is here to make earning money fun. Other debit cards are boring, but with Cash App's personalization feature, I can turn a picture of Jeff the Killer or Smile Dog into my everyday card. Cash App is here to work for you, to earn you money so that you can spend money on the things you love. If you weren't up to speed already, Cash App is way more than just a safe way to send or receive money. With the Cash App card, you can unlock a ton of perks without all the hidden fees. Enjoy benefits like exclusive early access to nationwide concert pre-sales for artists like Kendrick Lamar and Sabrina Carpenter, plus discounts on everyday purchases and popular brands you're probably already spending money on. Add your card to your digital wallet to make your money move easier. Cash App also adds security to your money by declining suspicious card transactions and sending you a notification to make sure that the payment is really you. If your card is ever lost or stolen, you can lock it up. You can lock it with just one tap in the app. Spend with confidence with the Cash App card today. Download Cash App today and make your money work for you. Visit our link in the bio. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's banks, partners, prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, Cash App Visa, debit flex cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC, the Bank Corp Bank, N.A. pursuant to a license from Visa USA Incorporated. See terms and conditions for the Sutton prepaid card, Sutton debit flex card, and the Bank Corp debit flex card. Cash App ring feature savings, direct deposit, roundups, overdraft, privilege, discount provided by Cash App. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosure. Thanks, Cash App, for sponsoring this episode.
My mind raced. The fantasy of Johnny Sticks, the rock star, snapping with the string. John Rivers, the burnout, Pitt's worst performer.
No. No, we don't. No, John Rivers. No, Johnny. Don't say your stuff like that. John Rivers, definitely. Yeah. No.
I took another drink, telling myself to calm down.
Let's just get new strings. Restring the whole thing.
Muttered to myself, pacing around the kitchen, bottle in hand. Pace, swig. Pace, swig. The process repeated for a few minutes. I slugged down the last of my whiskey and slammed the bottle on the counter a bit too hard, forgetting it was glass.
God damn it!
Broken glass covered the counter, a few pieces embedded in my left hand. It hurt like a son of a bitch.
Yes,
but
it
the whiskey
needed blood.
dulled some of the pain.
It needed blood, Isaiah!
Oh, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's hot. I quickly, this story is so cool. Already,
Yeah.
just the mechanics of it.
Immediately starts playing Rain in Blood on the fuck. That's so sick. Yeah.
What? He'll probably still play Stairway to Heaven, but.
Oh, yeah. There's a place in no. Yeah, go ahead.
It hurt like a son of a bitch, but the whiskey dulled some of the pain. I quickly swept the glass off the counter into the trash, picked the shards out of my hand, and ran it under the faucet for a bit. Most of it wasn't too bad, but there was a nasty cut that wouldn't stop bleeding on my upper palm. I wadded up a paper towel in my left hand and staggered back to the other room. The guitar was where I left it, lying across the couch, string snapped to all hell. I moved it to the side and sat back, letting the whiskey cloud my thoughts. This was a disaster. Pit last night, Ibanez, now this. My arm slumped beside me and the paper towel fell from my left hand. Blood dripped from the cut, drops landing on the fretboard of the guitar. I rolled my eyes and sighed, ready for another.
God damn it.
But then saw it.
What the hell?
My mouth looking at the guitar. Neck was clean, no blood to be found. Odder though, is that the high E string looked intact, good as new. Hand be damned, I picked it up and put my fingers to the fretboard. My palm continued to bleed, but the droplets disappeared in an instant. They touched the black body. They were being absorbed. Wincing slightly, I started Stairway to Heaven once more.
There's a lady who's sure.
As I picked the first few notes, the difference was night and day. Sounds that can't. I think you should keep singing. I think that's good. You should sing in the background while I read.
She's buying a stairway.
The sounds that came out of the amp were the cleanest tones I'd ever
when
heard.
She gets
Notes
there,
that could have been played by Jimmy Page
if
himself.
The stores are all closed.
Sounded heavenly.
With a word she
Immediately,
can get what
my reverie
she
began
came
anew.
For. Ooh,
It's a quote.
And she's buying a stairway to heaven. Johnny Sticks, everyone.
I said, standing up and giving a mock bow.
Oh, Johnny, don't do that. Don't do the mock bow, dude. Hello. I hope you're ready to suck my dick. Yeah, who's ready to suck some dick tonight?
So instead of him, wait, that came out wrong. Instead of him like becoming like too big for his head, he becomes cringe and starts doing mock bows and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Well, that's what keeps him grounded.
I fiddled with the knobs on the amp a bit, adding some distortion and a darker tone, and broke into the best rendition of War Pigs I'd ever played.
Hell yeah.
Would you like to sing as I read?
No, I'm not going to keep singing over the fucking...
I think it works as long as the editor tones it down, like makes you quieter.
They have to make me extremely quiet in the mix.
Yeah, you just hear it in the background. I think that would add to the tone of what's happening. There you go. The sounds coming out of this thing were astonishing. Could I always play like this? And the string baffled me. I could have sworn it broke, but here it was. After a couple more perfect sounding plays of my usual repertoire, I decided to wind down and call it a night. Pitt wouldn't know what hit it on Saturday.
As the war machine keeps... Is that my deal again? Sorry.
No. I just till the end of the paragraph. Because we're talking about different scenes.
It's the next
but
morning,
you can still, it's the artistic. You have to understand the artistic licensing.
Sorry, that's true.
The
also, the
scene
copyright.
continues,
Just even the copyright. We're gonna get flagged so hard.
I don't think you're gonna get
Oh,
copyrighted.
we're gonna get just like Ozzy. Just like Ozzy.
Yeah. You're too good to sing for too long.
I loved you. Woo! Next morning?
The next morning, I immediately went for the guitar again. Plugged in and ready, I plucked the first notes of Stairway to Heaven,
all right, buddy,
expecting that angelic sound once more. But I was greeted with the flat and twangy cacophony that came out when I first brought the guitar home. Confused, I started the song over to the same results. My mind buzzed with possibilities. Was yesterday's perfect, smooth tone the oral version of Whiskey Goggles? Either way, the thing sounded like shit right now. Then it hit me. The idea was batshit insane, but I had to try it.
The string repaired itself.
I muttered to myself as I went into the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer. The guitar was propped up where I left it, seemingly staring at me, challenging me. I rested the guitar on my lap as I poked the tip of the knife into my palm, reopening yesterday's wound. Grunting, I pushed it in until my palm was red with blood. A few drops fell onto the fretboard and promptly disappeared, followed by more as I shook my hand and closed it into a fist. The body's black sheen and red strings seemed to glow as it absorbed the red fluid.
It gave me kind of sick as if when he was playing, if it fucking shredded up his fingers and then also bled onto the strings that way too, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get there.
I really we were talking about monkey's paw, whatever, but I really like the idea of literally having to bleed to play,
Yeah, I like basically impairing yourself at this thing that you love to be able to play this amazing instrument, but inevitably it's going to leave you to a place where you'll never be able to play it again, kind of thing.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's a cool, it's a very literal version.
The Trappist is all I have to say.
I washed the wound once more and wrapped it up before picking up the guitar once more. It felt light as a feather, and my fingers fit the fretboard like a glove. Slung the strap around my neck, noodled around with some scales, and got to playing. It sounded immaculate.
Showtime.
I said, grinning from ear to ear, the pain in my hand non-existent compared to the euphoria I felt.
I will say he's got to stop playing Stairway to Heaven, and he's got to stop talking to himself. Johnny, you're better than that. So
what song? Hey, throw out a trap. What song do you want him to play at some point?
I mean, it seems like we're doing. I'm legitimately believe that the only thing he knows how to play is War Pigs and Stairway to Heaven. I mean, I would be remiss if Sweet Child of Mine does not pop up.
I mean, that would be a bear trap because you said it earlier when you didn't even know you were setting one.
I'm telling you.
The week leading up to Open Mic Saturday was a blur. I hardly needed to practice. Just a couple drops of blood, and I was playing like a virtuoso. Anything I could imagine, I picked up straight away. I was addicted and bore the track marks. Left arm was nicked and cut to hell. A small price to pay, and one I was more than willing to pay for what it bought. Days went by, the knife kept going in and out of my arm, and I got used to the pain. Welcomed it even. I played like a god. I wasn't eating, hardly sleeping, and completely confined to the apartment. Saturday rolled around, I was all but a zombie. My hair was greasy, complexion pallid, face patchy with stubble. My arm looked like a Picasso painting. I was delirious, hungry, and smelled something awful. But the pit had a microphone ready for me, so I had to get my shit together. That line's kind of hard, but the pit had a microphone for me. This is just a cool story.
I just love him. I love him.
It feels cool. I jumped in the shower for the first time in a week, letting the hot water slough off days of dried sweat and blood. I shoveled down some instant ramen and chased it with a couple cans of Coors Light. This guy is so you. This guy is.
I'm going to tell you, Johnny, you got to watch out because that waistline is going to expand rapidly. Careful, buddy. I was just like sodium. Oh, wow. Yeah, get away from it. Dasani, my friend, Dasani. Let it be your friend.
Lastly, I put on my best Van Halen shirt and leather jacket, packed up the guitar, and made for the pit. Tonight, Johnny Sticks would be truly reborn. I arrived fashionably late, right as the comedian was wrapping up his set with a tasteless joke about the conflict in Gaza. What the joke was, I couldn't tell you, as it was nearly drowned out by the audience's groans. Same crowd as usual, 10 or so regulars on their stools, and the hippie chick sitting at the table on her phone. Pit was how it always was. Hazy and dim, smelling of stale beer and cigarettes. Vince raised an eyebrow as I walked in.
Back for more, eh?
He asked in his gravelly voice as I commandeered an empty stool. I nodded.
Can't be any worse than that chuckle fuck.
Gestured at said comedian, who was strutting toward the bar from the mic.
Can't stand that fucking guy. You up then? Give him hell.
Flashed me a smile, pulled a bottle of Jack out of nowhere, poured me a shot.
To my new guitar,
I said, winking at Vince before taking the shot. He rolled his eyes and gestured toward the mic. I could tell he expected another train wreck out of me, and if nothing else, a profit from the post-set drowning of sorrows. A smile crept onto my face as the thought of proving that old bastard wrong. I snuck a glance at the hippie chick on the way to the stage. Pretty as usual. Smooth blonde hair, tight green tank top, face buried in her phone. My smile widened at the thought of my music catching her attention, her eyes fixing on me. I had to make a quick stop before the mic though. Bringing a full guitar case into a bar bathroom, especially a graffitied hellhole like the pits, may seem weird, but no one out there was paying attention. I shut myself in one of the stalls, took my jacket off, and opened the case. The guitar had that look to it, like it was staring at me. Fishing around in my pants, I found the small pocket knife I made sure to bring and flipped out the blade.
Johnny Sticks, everyone.
Said under my breath, with the best impression of Vince's rasp I could muster, before running the blade across my forearm. The leather jacket went straight back on. The pit was disgustingly warm, but I could take it to hide my arms. With my instrument satiated, I took my post at the mic. Amp on, guitar slung, case open in front of me. I was ready to tear the pit up. I took in my audience, not a soul looking at me, just shooting the shit, drinking. The comedian had what looked like a Long Island in front of him and was yapping at a pair of overly tanned older girls. The hippie chick continued to stare intently into her phone. Vince took a shot with this burly biker-looking guy. People laughed, conversed, had a good old time. They didn't even spare me a glance, that is, until I started to play. I decided to start out with a bang, and I could see people's heads turn as if the first few notes of Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover sang from the amp. My fingers flew across the fretboard with a grace the pit had never witnessed before, and my pick struck gold with each note. Halfway through the song, every eye in the bar was on me, savoring the moment and reveling in the beautiful sounds. I continued to play, shredding my way to the end. For once in his life, the comedian had nothing to say. The hippie chick looked up with awe in her eyes, distracted from her phone. Vince stared at me, slack-jawed. People began to clap, but I cut them off without missing a beat, jumping right into a rendition of the Allman Brothers' Jessica with the same precision. I had the pit moving, people bobbing their heads, the two tan ladies off their stools dancing, and the cash. My guitar case was a black hole, sucking in the bills, change, pocket linings of nearly every bar patron.
Do you think that this is like, are they under a spell, you think?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I think the playing of it would be hypnotic, to say the least, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering, because in this year of our Lord, right, with cell phones and whatever, and also rock music being like something that your dad or your grandpa listened to, I think a guy even shredding on a guitar, this is very much like a rock musician's thing of like, yeah, I'm fucking playing it, everyone's looking at me, and like, holy shit, how the fuck, like. Not to say that it's like totally that it's not as like amazing, or like, not that it's like no one likes it, but I definitely think like I'm wondering if it's casting some kind of spell for people who don't give a shit about rock or something. All of a sudden they're like, whoa, you're awesome. Something like that.
I could totally see that. Yeah. I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Ridge Wallet. At this point, you all know Ridge for many of their fantastic and rugged products, like their power banks, their luggage, and their premium everyday gear. And of course, we can't forget about the Ridge Wallet. I've had a Ridge Wallet for the past 6 years, and I don't see myself ever going back. They're the most compact, stylish, and durable wallets on the market. And right now, Ridge is back with their legendary sweepstakes for the 6th year in a row, and this time, it's the biggest ever. The sweepstakes runs from July 24th to September 8th, and 2 lucky winners will get to pick between a Lamborghini Huracan Storado, the world's first off-road supercar, of which there are only 1,500 in the world, a twin-turbo Ford Hennessy Velociraptor, basically an American muscle car inside of a truck, a custom-built Bronco with scratch-resistant Kevlar and 37-inch off-road tires, or 100 grand in cash. Personally, I know a lot of people are going to gravitate towards the Lamborghini because it's a Lamborghini, but I could get up to some trouble in an off-road Kevlar-coated Bronco. And the way the sweepstakes works is it's completely free to enter. Just go to ridge.com and sign up. But if you were already thinking about getting a Ridge wallet or power bank or whatever, now's a great time, because purchasing something from ridge.com gets you additional entries. Obviously up until September 8th when the sweepstakes ends. So if you've been needing a great wallet or something else from the site that you've had your eye on, then now would be the perfect time to get on board, because you just might get a Lamborghini out of it. But I'm no businessman, I just pretend to be one. But that sounds like a pretty good deal. So if you're looking to upgrade your wallet and your ride, then you can head to the link in the description at ridge.com and use discount code Creepcast to get 10% off your order and get more entries in their biggest sweepstakes ever. So if you want a Lambo, a Ford Bronco, a Hennessy Velociraptor, or 100 grand in cash and 10% off of whatever you get from Ridge, again, head to the link in the description at ridge.com and use discount code Creepcast to get in on their offer today. And after your purchase, if you could let them know that we sent you, it would really mean a lot. Thank you to Ridge for sponsoring the show. Their link will be in the description, and we are now back to the episode. As Jessica came to a close, I gave my newfound admirers a smile, winked toward Vince, and went into my third and final song of the night, the one that I butchered last week. The room was silent, save for the slow picking of the intro. I began to croon into the mic, my hands autopiloting. I could feel every eye in the room on me, feel their love, their appreciation. True to the song, I felt like I was on a stairway to heaven. After what felt like an eternity lost in Led Zeppelin, I wrapped up, unslinging my guitar and giving a bow. As high as I felt in that moment, I couldn't help but notice the last few notes having a flat twang to them. It needs more blood.
Motherfucking Johnny Sticks, everyone!
Vince said in a breathless tone. The room exploded into applause. I made eye contact with the hippie chick, winked and chuckled as she turned as red as the wall behind her. I packed up, pocketed the cash from the case, and sauntered up to the bar, more swagger in my step than last week. Vince, per usual, had my cores ready.
How the fuck you do that, kid?
He asked, disbelief in his voice.
Told you. I needed a new guitar and I got one.
I replied, smirking. Took a sip of my beer.
Well, come back next week. Do it again. Pack the place full. Maybe I can get some, friends in here.
Vince grinned and I could practically see the dollar signs in his eyes. I decided to pry.
Friends, huh? Don't bullshit me, Vince. Give me a deal. Play like that again. Pack the bar. And I'll suck your cock if I have to. No, it's okay, Vince. I'm okay. No, seriously. Seriously. I'll kiss your cheek. I'll kiss your cheek. We'll go to the bathroom. I'll suck your cock raw. No, it's okay. You said you wanted that, Johnny. Don't be a hypocrite.
I didn't say that to anyone. I fantasized it alone in my apartment.
It was a fantasy, Vince. Get out of my head. Get out of my head, Vince. There's a fantasy.
Yeah, Vince is the supernatural one.
Exactly.
He can see his thoughts, yeah.
You ever seen 13 Ghosts?
That's not even me. That's the people reading the story right now. How'd you know that? One of them keeps burping from Diet Coke. Good enough for me. Slapped a couple of the bills onto the bar.
Round for the bar!
I roared, voice full of raw confidence. The next hour was the best of my life. Drinks flowing, all the compliments a man could ask for, the hippie chick's number on a napkin. Life was good. Before long, I was stumbling out the side door once more, case in hand. Before he could even ask, beat old Bud to the punch with the 20 and a cigarette. Same as last week, he ducked into the pit and the last thing I heard was Vince swearing. I whistled as I walked back to my shithole building, had some extra pep in my step climbing the stairs to my shithole apartment. Gently placed the guitar in its stand and gave it a kiss before collapsing onto my bed. From the moment I woke up, it was go time. Whether or not I believe Vince about the friends, I had the pit's undivided attention and wasn't about to let it go. Picked up the guitar and noodled a bit before carving another gash into my arm. At this point, I could barely feel the cuts, only the elation of what they brought. I strummed and began to contemplate my set list for the next open mic Saturday. Something else I appreciate about the story is it's very well paced. Like you can tell from the beginning where it kind of wants to go with like, oh, this guitar is bad, I want a different one. And then this guitar like gives him this power, but it costs blood. So you can kind of see that direction. And it immediately moves from like the setup to a very quick interlude to him having the guitar, to him playing, and now the rise to fame, at least small town fame. And the pacing of it's very well. And I almost feel like if this were a lesser written story, I feel like details like this would be the kind of thing me and you would clown on. Not necessarily the guitar blood part, because that's cool. But say there was like a different instrument based thing and we're like, yeah, we get it. You're good. You don't have to spend so much time explaining. But because it does such a good job with like the tonation of wrapping you into it and making it feel like you're there, it really feels enjoyable rather than like filling the air, Yeah.
Well, I mean, so far, I think that it hasn't also hid its like tone. I think sometimes it just feels jarring when we're reading these sometimes. And it just feels like you are prepped in yourself and you're buying into the idea of like the theme or flavor of a story, and then when it switches suddenly, you're kind of like, what? Or like it feels odd. This just kind of, I mean, like this to me is fun, and this is up my alley because this is like a B horror film or like a Tales from the Crypt episode. Is how I'm reading it. So it's just, it's campy, it's fun. I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's cool.
Yeah. And not ironically enjoying it like we have to do sometimes.
No.
As fun and crowd pleasing as last night's tracks were, I couldn't repeat them 2 or 3 in the case of Stairway to Heaven weeks in a row. I needed 3 tracks that would count. My mind immediately went to Ozzy Osbourne. Maybe Crazy Train, when they'll get the crowd moving and pay fitting tribute to the Prince of Darkness. Freebird was another that immediately came to mind, as I'd always wished I could play it, but can never nail the thing. I just needed to think of one more, an encore after knocking their socks off with Freebird. If it did, I have no further information. If it is Sweet Child of Mine, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah. I cannot think of another song. I'm going to be appalled if it's not that.
I mean, Crazy Train and Freebird are like excellent party pleaser, loud bar song stuff. And so is Sweet Child of Mine. So who knows? The week leading up was another blur of blood, sweat, and more blood. I counted down the days. Nothing mattered to me anymore outside of playing and being in tip-top shape for the pit. Another week of hardly eating, the bulk of my nutrition consisting of whiskey, beer, and cigarettes. I was like, I'm going to be in tip-top shape, and he just gets drunk and smokes the whole time.
That's what you have to do to get in shape, man. Come on.
Another week without leaving my apartment, the only light being my dimming living room bulb and the little sunlight let in through my blinds. Another week with little to no human contact. I did shoot the hippie chick a text, though.
Pit on Saturday? Gonna tear it up again. Ah.
JS. I didn't know what the /m/wink would be, but you going is the perfect.
It's got to be exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yo, bring some flowers and some peace times this time, babe. You're gonna be so fucking excited.
There was the matter of the guitar. While still sounding as immaculate as ever, I noticed it was acting faulty. The sound was sliding from sweet to sour after a few songs, like the effect was wearing off early. He needs more blood every time. There we go. Last week, I'd cut myself once or twice and the thing would play like heaven for an entire day. Now, I'd have to give it a bloody re-up every few songs. My left arm looked terrible, and I'd begun cutting into my right arm as well. I felt wooziness setting in throughout the days. This was not sustainable. When Friday came around, I was once again a greasy, bloody mess. A thought entered my mind a few times over the course of the week, and it set in my weary brain as I lay down for bed. The guitar was draining me. I played the pit with it one more time and stash it. Use the money for a legit new guitar. Learn my way up from the bottom again. Practice harder. Eliminate the need for the coffin-shaped instrument, as gorgeous as it sounded. Or I could just keep playing the current guitar, wow the pit, and then wow the world. I drifted off to sleep after deciding to make that decision tomorrow night. The ding of my phone woke me up. Saturday morning, mere hours until Johnny Sticks rocked the pit again. On another occasion, I soon realized as I groggily checked my notifications. The one text a year I get from my mom.
Happy birthday, John. Miss you. Call you soon. Mommy.
In the whirlwind of the last couple weeks, I'd completely forgotten about my 27th birthday. Ruh-roh. I'd grown estranged from my mom in the last several years, getting my own place and getting mixed up in music, or rather the skeevier parts of the culture. She still held out hope that I'd be successful and come back to her, though, and sent me the same message every year on my birthday. Even with call soon in every message, I never did actually call. But the thoughts of my incoming success possessed my fingers to tap out a message.
Miss you too. Playing at Pit Bar tonight, John.
It's showtime in a few hours. It was time to return to the land of the living. Just like the previous week, I choked down some instant ramen and a few beers and took a long, steamy shower. I could almost pass for a functional person, gaunt and pale, but alive. I ran a brush through my tangled mop of hair, quickly dressed in faded jeans and a black Sabbath tee, and went to pack up my axe. The guitar, gosh, I forgot the story's called the Axe-Wielder. Oh, it's so cool. The guitar had this aura about it, like it was beckoning to me. I picked it up, planted a kiss on its deep, dark body, and gently put it in a case.
Cheers to turning the pit upside down,
I said, grabbing a switchblade caked in dried blood off the coffee table and running it across my right forearm. The blade bit into my flesh, and I gritted my teeth as I pulled it across, adding another mark to the slashed up canvas. It went deeper than the usual cuts, but the guitar demanded more and more each time. Blood dripped from the wound, and my instrument lapped it up like a dog on a hot summer day. It was time to go. I wrapped my arm in gauze, slipped on my leather jacket, pocketed the knife, and made for the door. It was a cool fall evening, and I could feel the kiss of a gentle breeze as I walked to the pit. The sky showed the deep red of sunset, a similar color to the strings of my instrument. My mind raced as I walked, wrestling with the dilemma at hand. I felt a bit woozy. I'd given the thing so much blood, and its appetite had grown. My arms were in a perpetual state of pains, both dull and sharp, that no amount of booze or Advil lessened. I needed to hang up the guitar. God only knows what would happen to me if this continued. I also pondered what my final song of the night would be, and a block before the bar, it hit me. The thoughts dissipated when I arrived at my destination. Word must have gotten out about last week. I had never seen the pit this packed in over a year of open mic Saturdays. All of the stools and tables were filled, and a mass of bodies conglomerated in the middle of the floor. Some of the regulars leaned against the bar, visibly pissed about their stools being hijacked. Vince was running around like a chicken with its head cut off, slinging drinks and collecting cash, a much-needed cigarette hanging out of his mouth. It was hotter than hell in there. Stale beer and cigarette reek was almost overpowering, and the chatter was the loudest it had ever been. I scanned the place, looking for any familiar faces. The hippie chick was at her usual table. Vince was in a frenzy. Some of the regulars milled around. From afar, I observed two very out-of-place individuals in the throng. One figure stood out like a sore thumb, being at least a foot taller and several shades paler than everyone else in the bar. His raven-colored hair fell to his shoulders, and I couldn't help but notice his eyes boring holes into me with a ghastly smile on his face. That's the guy from the pawn shop,
Yeah,
right?
100%. It's like, I think it's supposed to be like the devil or whatever.
Yeah. I snapped my gaze away from him when I saw someone else in the crowd.
Mom?
She hadn't noticed me yet. Only two people did, both men with a part in putting this into motion. Vince's voice boomed from behind the bar, quickly shutting down the conversations and merriment.
The man of the hour has arrived. Johnny fucking Sticks, get your ass over here, son.
Part of the crowd like the Red Sea and sidled up to the bar where Vince had 2 shots of Jack at the ready. He winked at me, rasped.
Break a leg.
We downed him.
Packed house tonight, as you can see. People were talking after last week, kid.
Vince said, flicking a cigarette butt onto the ground and immediately fishing for another. Gestured to the end of the bar, where a man even more out of place than my mother sat. His short hair must have had an entire tube of gel slicking it back, and his blazer, dress shirt, and slacks clashed with the band tees and tank tops everyone else had on. I studied him, noticing a gold watch and dark, expensive-looking shoes that were no doubt being compromised by the establishment he sat in. The guy was probably boiling alive. Vince's voice was low.
Told you I know people. He's a pal of mine, and he's in the biz. But like you did again, we can hook you up. Now get the fuck up there.
Little stage was just beyond the throng of people, and I slowly made my way through. The tall man continued to leer at me, a smile plastered on his face. I could see the hippie chick staring at me with a smile, and I made eye contact with Mom. She looked uncomfortable, squished in the crowd, but forced a smile. I set the guitar down, battled through the mass, and wrapped her in a hug.
You made it.
I said, slightly out of breath. She chuckled, pulling me deeper into the hug.
You couldn't have picked a better place to bring me.
We both laughed, and her smile softened to something more genuine.
Hey, at least you're spending your birthday with your old mom.
She sniffled a bit and stepped back.
Yeah. I thought you'd like to see me play. I've gotten pretty damn good.
My eyes were a bit misty, but shrugged the emotions off and flashed a wicked smile. She nodded at me and gestured toward the mic. Showtime. Shouldered my way back to the stage and began my setup, slinging the guitar over my shoulder, plugging it into the amp, putting on my best rock god facade and grabbing the microphone.
Holy shit, you really turned out tonight.
Every eye in the building snapped toward me, and I could already feel the rush coming.
My name is Johnny Sticks, and I have a couple for you tonight.
I gave the guitar a strum and put my hand up in a salute.
This one's for you, Ozzy. All aboard!
This is so you.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe. Pretty cringe. But I would be doing air guitar though. I'd be doing air guitar. I'd be up there doing that.
You like everything from like the girl to like your mom being like crazy place, and you're like, yeah, this one's for you, Ozzy.
The only thing that's different is I would have already told my mom that the hippie chick and me were deeply in love and we were planning to get married. This is your future daughter-in-law. One's like, what?
That girl over there, she loves me. You know that? We're gonna have babies.
And then every
Me
time I
that girl
laugh,
right there.
every time I laugh, I do the Aussie laugh from the beginning of Crazy Train. Just the
Get it? Because I'm about to play Crazy Train.
exactly. Yeah. That actually, I'd be fucking stoked seeing a guy doing air guitar on stage doing that.
With my best impression of the famous laugh, I broke into Crazy Train. Within a few notes, the pit was moving. Some people danced, others tapped their feet. Vince even got a quick moment of respite, but was back to it a moment later. I shredded, fingers flying up and down the fretboard with inhuman dexterity and the sounds coming from the amp clear as a bell. I don't know how, but even my singing voice was affected. I belted out notes my vocal range had no business hitting. The hippie chick was up and dancing, in perfect tune with the music. My mom bobbed her head, a grin on her face. Vince's slick buddy eyed me with curiosity. The only unmoving figure was Mr. Tall, grim, and pale. Still as a corpse, staring intently at me and smiling. The guy gave me the creeps, but that feeling was nothing next to the high I felt playing Randy Rhoads' famous riffs. I was hot, sweaty, and slightly woozy, but it didn't matter. I was locked in, and everyone in the pit loved me. I breezed through the solo, hands seemingly moving on their own. The rush consumed me, the feeling intensifying with each note. Drunk on the moment, I finished the song, outro laced with flair.
Thank you.
I said in a sarcastically monotone voice. The room erupted. Whistles, hoots, claps, applause of all forms. A pair of women lifted their shirts and blew kisses toward me.
Hell yeah.
It was pure chaos, the perfect energy of a rowdy, sold-out venue. I blew a kiss back and held up the horns.
Now, where were we? All of you better know this one.
I hit the first sorry note of Skinner's iconic song and let it ring. Mayhem died down.
Buckle in,
I said, slowly making my way through the intro. Freebird was a completely different animal than Crazy Train, but I picked and crooned my way through it with the same finesse. Slow and soulful sound that had the crowd engaged, but less rowdy. So I'm offering you for the first time in this podcast to sing freely, and you're not taking it, and I'm almost kind of offended.
I mean, I'm also trying to engage with the story. If I leave here tomorrow.
Some people still danced and moved, but others just stood and took in the music. It truly was a beautiful song, and all the more beautiful by the axe and its wielder. Things were about to get rowdy again, though. I'd never been able to get this solo down on the Ibanez, even with years of practice. But I trusted the black coffin in my hands to get the job done. The pace of the song was starting to quicken, and room quickened with it. I belted out the vibrato of the final change and ripped into the 4.5 minute solo that had been the bane of my existence, and I was smoking through it. I was on overdrive, fast and precise, at least for the first 2-ish minutes. I could feel my hands beginning to cramp up, the wooziness crept back in, and the rush I was riding gave way to a sluggish feeling. A couple notes sounded off. The power and flourish of the solo started to wane. Damn, I soldiered on, doing my best to keep the song on track, but I was flagging, not quite in free fall, but nearing it. Luckily, the crowd was still rocking, not noticing my flubs. I made an executive decision then, segueing the solo into a simple scale and landing the bird before it crashed. My brain was nearing panic mode. Looking out the cheering crowd, I masked it with my best fake smile and another
Thank you.
What was I gonna do? My mind raced. The crowd was going wild. I couldn't call it a night yet. I just gotten started. The guitar was thirsty. It needed more nourishment and fast. Hell, I did too.
Whew. I'm getting thirsty. I think we should take a quick breather. It's been 2 songs. Grab a drink, give old Vince some love.
Gesture toward the bar, composure slowly returning.
I got another one for you, just in a few.
That seemed to satiate them. Now it was time to satiate myself and my instrument. After giving the room a moment to settle, I braved the crowd. To my appreciation, A couple of people leaning against the bar moved to offer up their spots to the night's talent. Vince, per usual, had a shot ready for me.
Hell of a set again.
He said, grinning ear to ear.
Johnny Sticks night needs to be its own thing. I've been making cash hand over fist.
Down the shot and the grimace on my face caught his eye.
You all right, kid? Yeah, just need a drink and some fresh air. George bottle, please.
Held out a 20. Vince pushed my hand away.
You should see my tip jar.
Twisted the cap and placed it in front of me. Took a sip and looked him in the eye.
I'm gonna have a quick smoke. Reach in the guitar a bit.
I nodded in the direction of the side door.
Don't let anyone follow me. I just need a bit to clear my head and then I'll be back.
Vince nodded. I didn't think I'd have to worry about it anyway. Vince was one of the few owners who still allowed smoking in his bar, and with the turnout in drink sales, he'd probably fight God himself for me if I asked him to. I forced a smile.
Just you wait for my next one.
Beer in hand, I collected the guitar and made for the door, nodding at Mom and winking at the hippie chick en route. Temperature had dropped from earlier, a welcome feeling on my sweaty brow. I sipped the beer and took a seat against the dumpster, guitar on my lap. Man, the story's done such a good job at pacing itself in the tone that, like, I could feel the feeling of being in a stuffy room and sweating a bit to stepping out into a cold night air. Like the kind of like the sweat on your brow kind of freezes up a little bit, you know?
Right.
Like, I feel like I'm there. And it's such a homey, like, personal moment, but like I can see the bar, I can see the venue and stuff. It's just, oh, it's so good. I sipped the beer and took a seat against the dumpster, guitar on my lap. I lit a cigarette and shrugged off my jacket. Both the cold and the sight of my torn up arms and bloody gauze made me shiver. This whole business was screwed up, but I had to do it. They loved me in there, so I had to give them more. Vince's friend was going to hook me up. There's no way I could walk away from this now. I produced a switchblade from my pocket and quickly pressed the button. With a deep sigh, I stuck the blade in my arm, ready to give my instrument its fix. Then a voice broke my concentration.
Can I get a buck or smoke?
Oh no.
This is gonna have to kill somebody.
Oh no. Oh no. I didn't think the story would go that way. Oh no. Oh gosh. Bud. I had completely forgotten about him. The mangy bastard seemed to materialize from the alley's darkness with a slow approach. Oh my gosh. Dude, what a cool set. I thought Bud was just set dressing. Just like a cool little tone thrown in, whatever, to add to like the dungy feeling of the bar. But using him for this now, oh, how terrible, man. When he saw me closer, though, he recoiled. I don't blame him. Must have been a hell of a sight. Knife in my arm, blood trickling onto my guitar, a feral look in my eyes.
What the?
Started. I don't know what possessed me, but I knew what I had to do then. I was going to ascend to rock godhood. Bud was going to continue heckling people for guitars and beer money. No one would miss him. And my guitar was thirsty. I pulled the switchblade out of my arm. He shakily took a step back, but I was on him before he could turn tail. With all my strength, I swung the guitar hard at the side of his head, catching him near the jaw with the body. He crumpled like a sack of bricks. I put the guitar on the ground and grabbed Bud by the hair, positioning his head over it. In one movement, I drew the knife across his throat, opening it wide. Blood spurted from the gash and the guitar didn't let a single drop go to waste. After a few agonizingly long moments, the bleeding stopped and Bud breathed his last. And the guitar had never looked more radiant. In the heat of the moment, I hadn't considered what to do now. Someone was going to find him. Can't attribute a slit throat and massive blood loss to alcohol poisoning or exposure. I decided the dumpster was the safest bet. I flipped it open and grabbed Bud's body by the shoulders, ready to hoist it up when I heard the sound of clapping behind me. My fight or flight went off and I dropped the body to the ground. I whirled around to see the tall gentleman, the man who traded me the guitar, and motionlessly smiled through its playing. He brought his hands together slowly, an amused look on his face. He was laughing. I had no idea what his deal was, but he didn't seem fazed. I decided to take a gamble. I highly doubted he was going to spread any gossip or go to the police.
You just gonna stand there and laugh, or are you gonna help me?
I like how cool he is with it immediately.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I pointed at Bud, lifeless against the dumpster. That only made the man laugh harder.
Fuck.
grunted under my breath before returning to my grim task. Believe it or not, he actually did step in. For a homeless dude who lived on a cheap beer and cigarettes, Bud was surprisingly heavy. Got him off the ground and unceremoniously pushed him into the dumpster. For a second, I actually felt something for the guy, thinking of all the cigarettes and dollars I'd given him since first coming to the pit. And his sacrifice was what was going to give me my break. I poured out the rest of my cores to his memory. Not the best tribute, I'll admit. Should have been a Bud Light. Oh, man. I slumped against the dumpster again, panting. The pale gentleman stared down at me, the amused look not leaving his face. He offered me a hand.
She's a beaut, ain't she?
Gestured to the guitar.
Get up, Mr. Sticks. The show must go on.
Relit my cigarette with a lighter somehow wider than he was. Oh yeah, the whole white lighter thing at the 27 Club.
Mm-hmm.
I took one more moment to breathe deep, calm myself from what had just happened, and I picked up the guitar and didn't look back. The man held the door open and whispered,
Break a leg.
As I stepped back into the hot, sticky bar that was going to be the birthplace of my legend. Felt like I was outside for hours, but in reality, only about 15 or 20 minutes had passed. The pit was how it was when I left it. People drinking and shooting the shit, eagerly awaiting the next song. Mom was chatting with a couple people near her. The hippie chick was on her phone again. Vince was lighting yet another cigarette. And I was back, and it was showtime again. The guitar had a glow to it, and I could feel the rush coming back.
Hope you didn't drink too much without me,
I said, taking my place in front of the mic. Everybody stopped what they were doing and shifted their attention.
Intermission's over. I got one more for you.
I scanned the crowd, catching a few eyes.
Treat me good enough, and I may have a few more.
That warranted applause. Vince whispered something into his biz pal's ear, and I had their attention. Commanded the room. I felt like a rock star. I thought long and hard about what to follow Freebird with. The week leading up saw me trying out several different songs, but nothing seemed to mesh how I wanted it. But the perfect song came to me moments before I entered the pit, where this life-changing night began.
Interview find people here of a fella named Charlie Daniels.
Okay. Well, yeah, duh. that has to be the song, right?
Right.
yeah. Duh. I could feel a surge of energy in the room.
Well, one I'm about to play is pretty fitting, because my name's Johnny fucking Sticks.
That's pretty, that's so cool. I didn't even make the Johnny connection to it earlier. That's fun. That's so fun. I gave the guitar a strum, ready to break the tension and make my fans go wild. Then I broke into the song, and the pit was thrown once more into glorious mayhem. My guitar sounding sweeter than the devil's golden fiddle. My name is Johnny Sticks. I'm 27 years young and about to take the first steps to stardom. Me and my trusty axe are going to take over the world. I just have to quench its thirst every so often.
And that is the end of the Axe-Wielder. You know, it's a fun little story. I think that for people that know of the 27 Club, I think it's a really fun payoff. I think that even if you don't know about it, I think it's just like a fun, quick, like this. Like I cannot emphasize that. How much this feels like a Tales from the Crypt episode. But Isaiah, while you were reading, sometimes I was a little late because I have a couple thoughts.
Okay.
A few thoughts indeed.
Okay.
One,
I will say before you get into actual thoughts, I will say one of my favorite parts about the story is the way the atmosphere was written and the pacing. Like I mentioned, just wanted to highlight that. But go ahead.
Yeah. And this is all coming from a place of one. Let me just say the things I liked about it. Which the things I liked about it were, because there's a lot of cringe shit of him, being like, you guys, just the way that he was approaching on stage, his character, some cringy moments, but it felt warranted because it's a guy pretending to be a rock star, right? Mm-hmm. I get that. And it had its comedic, campy tone, so I like that. So these are some thoughts I had. One, should his performance have not that I like this idea of like it was all a dream, but should the perception of what he perceived versus reality been skewed? This idea of like, one, you're going to a place, you're playing 3 songs, and people are like, yeah, there's not really I didn't know if it was like a captivating spell that just had people kind of like he had him like, wrapped around his finger a bit, or if You know what I mean? He's not even playing his own songs. He's playing covers. So it's like, is this a thing where he thinks he's like killing and the devil is giving you the perception that you are like fucking murdering on stage and it's just kind of like living in delusion? Is that, you know what I mean?
I think it's more so your original idea you had where you're like, what if this is like a spell?
Yeah.
You know, because it seems like things that he would be quote unquote imagining were literally happening. Like the music producer being there and his mom coming and the hippie chick and giving her his number and all that. I mean, there is a world where he's imagining it, but I think it's more so people are spellbound.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, I mean, the only reason I say that too is because there's a couple lines in here where I was like, what? He plays 2 songs and he's like, all right, guys, going to take a break. Anyone in the real world, which whatever, we're living in a fantasy thing, would be like, what? you just play, like in total, he probably played 17 minutes of music. There were 2 songs.
Yeah.
One of them's a 13-minute long song or whatever. And then this other thing too that I thought was interesting is when he said, don't let anyone follow me outside. He's played one other night here that was good. And now tonight he's played 2 songs and then he stopped. It's not that it's like totally unfathomable, but I like this idea. If the story was a little longer, this is kind of where my thoughts start coming in, is you have more of an ability if the story's longer to really flesh out this idea of like maybe he has people noticing him on the streets. These things, these like, was it grandeur, like delusions of grandeur is kind of what the devil is selling him on, is like, sure, whatever you can, it's like fucking almost making a deal with a Shinigami or something. Yeah, you can see what day you die, but it cuts your life in half or something. Is there some kind of parallel there that's interesting? Because I do like the angle of the little shop of horrors of, well, to keep this dream alive, I got to feed people to this thing. You know, it has to have more and more blood until it becomes so big that it's like, well, it's not just like one body, it's a couple dead people, and then a couple dead people turns into like a couple dozen, you know, yada yada. I think that's cool, and I think there could have been more time for that. And which also led me to think too, also I'm just kind of rambling, but the other one is too, is when the devil popped up at the end, I do like this, I like that he had like that relationship with him where that was just kind of like, well, are you going to fucking help me? You know, I thought that was kind of cool. And I think like go back to the Guitar Center thing. If his buddy, this guy they knew at the Guitar Center thing that was always trying to sell him on new shit or something, was the devil, and the devil worked at like a Guitar Center, I thought like that would have been a fun angle of just like bringing that thing back in of like this entity that you have a past relationship with, to where you could be that casual and cordial with them. I think could have been fun. And then the last couple of thoughts I have was maybe even having like a full band, and then he is like feeding the band, or like basically becoming egotistical in a way where he's killing off members of his band, and it's becoming the him show, you know, like, oh, well, this is all about me now. And he could actually feed his band members stories like, I don't fucking need them. And then my last biggest gripe is that the Charlie Daniels Went Down to Georgia song is a fiddle song. It's not a guitar song. So
but you've heard that one's pedantic. I'll hear all your others.
But it's
have you ever heard a rock cover? Have you ever heard a rock cover?
Yes.
Okay,
but still, I just want to say the whole thing it's a fiddle. Just want to say it's a fiddle.
Yeah, but the story is the golden fiddle story.
Yes. I get it. But still.
Okay, all your other stuff, totally for that one. I feel like you're being a little wrapping it on that.
I will say the golden fiddle thing, or even just making it about like a thing of like a weird honky tonk bar, would have been sick too. If he was a fiddle player, that would have been sick too.
Okay, the whole. So I'll talk for a second. Right. I really like your idea about if this was a longer story, because I get why you wouldn't do it in a short version, because that's a lot of character dynamics you have to add and stuff like that. But yeah, if this was a longer story, I like the idea of him killing off his band members to do it, because it's like a very literal interpretation of like, you know, pushing other people down to get to fame.
Yep.
I love how Bud's set up kind of like it's just an outcast at the beginning, this world setting. Then he comes back in the end as the victim who gives him this final push. And it kind of ends with like him on top of the world. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the world is a sold out dive bar. Not even sold out, just people showed up to hear him play.
Right.
So it's like, this is almost like the introduction to a greater story about Johnny Sticks, right? So I really like the tonation. It feels like an urban legend, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of cryptid stories will start with oh, well, this creature broke out of a lab and he's out there to this day. And then that gives you kind of the leeway to make whatever stories you want about where he is now. Similarly, it's like Johnny Stacks is out there anywhere now. Like you could almost make up a legend like, oh, and then he changed his name to Ozzy Osbourne, or he's some up and coming star or whatever, right? Like this seems like the introduction to a whole slew of urban legends. And I think that's really cool. And I like it. I really like the part that you highlighted where he sees the devil, who all of this is so weird, but he can put all the weirdness away for the sake of fame, to the point when he's laughing at him throwing Bud's body in the trash. He's like, can you help me? That's a really cool note. I just loved I love the pacing. I love the way the world building was and stuff. It was just such a fun story.
Yeah. I want to reiterate too. I liked it a lot too. These are just like final thoughts and just being like, it made me be like, oh, this would be fun. This would be fun. But all in all, really enjoyed this setup and stuff. Also too, we don't get a lot of like fun, campy stories about like, just like the almost like these tropey kind of fun tales of like a fucking, Robert Johnson kind of character of like selling your soul to the devil for like guitar fame or something. I think it's fun. I think that once again, just as like certain thoughts or even just things to think about if the author was listening to this or something, or just for the sake of conversation, is just I love when stories because I love rock and metal stuff, and it is so not necessarily lame, but like it is not pop culture anymore. In terms of like what younger kids like and stuff. That isn't to say that not a lot of people don't like it, because they do, but I just mean, I love this idea of in your mind, you are playing to, in your version of heaven, which is so true to so many people who are like in a band or trying to start out, is just playing a packed gig. And this idea that a guy would like literally kill someone just to play to a packed bar is so like true in terms of people being like, fuck, I just want that so bad, that I love the idea of like even him being like, there's these girls who are like hippie chicks or like fucking, younger kids who are like, whoa, he's playing Stairway to Heaven or Freebird, which is like hilarious. I think that's funny. Is just like, just this perception in his head. And he's just like fucking, like he looks like a total badass. I'm Johnny fucking Sticks. And he's like doing the finger gun in the mirror. But then he goes on stage and his like tread marks all over his fucking arms. His shirt's all bloody. His eyes are all like shot and stuff, but it's like in his mind though, this is fucking epic. I'm like transported back to 1986 at the fucking Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Boulevard in LA or something. It's like, I think that could be just a really fun take. But all in all, it was just fun. Also too, just like a really digestible, easy story. If you said this guy's written more stuff, it'd be fun to see if he's written anything longer, or if they are these bite-sized things, maybe next time we can read a couple of them.
Yeah, he's done. I would love to hit this guy up again for more stuff. Let me get his. Where did that? I had it. There it is. And also just a story being called the Axe-Wielder. So cool. Once again, we'll have Walker's Bewitching Hour on on Reddit, and also his actual name is Brett H. And again, he's got 5 other stories that you guys should definitely check out, because I would like to see this guy write more. And personally, I would like to cover more stuff he's done. It seems like most of them are about this size. A couple shorter ones. But yeah, it seems the others are this size. But yeah, this dude, Brett, keep writing, dude. This was awesome. I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun. And you would certainly have a talent in the way you are describing certain details, and like, just your world building is really good. I felt like I was there. So yeah, keep writing stuff, please. Yeah,
I really like that you could very clearly tell that this guy, you can tell he likes the music. You can tell it's just like an interest. I like when people put their interest, whether it be universal or not, into a story, and you can just like feel that through. And I think that's fun. Like even just the whole Robert Johnson thing tacked in with just like songs that usually people play when they're starting guitar, and then mixed in with like the 27 Club, which also, that's one thing I like too, is he never mentioned the 27 Club. So it's like, if you know, you know, but if not, it is what it is. But I do think just a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this one. I know people usually really like these super long episodes, but I will say, when we're reading these episodes, or when we're reading these stories, it's really nice when there's a story that's like this concise, this kind of punchy and fun. and it feels like it feels like very energizing, you know, versus sometimes you get through, we're 3 hours into a story and all of a sudden it's just like, the Oreo man showed up and you're like, oh my God. Oh shit. Like, so it was fun, but thank you so much guys for watching this week's episode. If you want to support the channel, feel free to sign up to the Patreon. It helps us out. And also there's bonus content there. Also, if you listen to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us a nice rating. And until next time, guys,
stay creeped.
And also go submit stories to Tales from the Creeps.
It's there for you. Do it.
Yep, check out Brett in the description, and also to everyone who complains that I don't let Hunter sing enough. Well, this was his time to do that. So if he didn't sing enough, that's his fault, and I never want him to do it again. So yeah, blame him. Bye.
She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as a bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, it takes me away to that special place. And if I stay too long, I'll probably break down and cry. Whoa, sweet child of mine. Whoa, ow, 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 sweet love of mine. Do-do-do, ba-do-do. Fucking tons of chicks grabbing at me. Do-do-do, do-do-do. Fucking tons of people give me money like, dude, you rule.